Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, and it's a little bit later than normal because I slept in. That's why. Okay, so today we are doing, I don't know, we're doing First Peter 3, and we're doing the second half of it, beginning in verse 8. And the title of this in my Bible is called Suffering for Doing Good. Okay. Finally, all of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you are called, so that you may inherit a blessing. For whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. Who is going to harm you if you are eager to do good? I like that line. Who is going to harm you if you are eager to do good? But even if you should suffer for what is right, you are blessed. Do not fear their threats. Do not be frightened. But in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect, keeping a clear conscience, so that those who speak maliciously against your good behavior in Christ may be ashamed of their slander. For it is better, if it is God's will, to suffer for doing good than for doing evil. For Christ also suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to God. He was put to death in the body, but made alive in the spirit. After being made alive, he went and made proclamation to the imprisoned spirits, to those who were disobedient long ago, when God waited patiently in the days of Noah while the ark was being built. In it, only a few people, 8 in all, were saved through water. And this water symbolizes baptism that now saves you also. Not the removal of dirt from the body, but the pledge of a clear conscience towards God. It saves you by the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who has gone into heaven and is at God's right hand with angels, authorities, and powers in submission to him. Okay. So, I love this line. Who is going to harm you if you are eager to do good? Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? I mean, yes, there are absolute lunatics in this world that don't care. They are going to hurt people no matter what. But generally speaking, and this has been my experience, that when we are gentle and loving and kind, oh man, I keep getting a coffee fuzz on my beard, that people generally just don't, it just takes their momentum right out of them. They don't have the same kind of mindset that they had a few seconds ago when they thought that you were like the rest of the people of the world that they wanted to kill and destroy and run over the top of. A perfect example of that I see every single day is when I drive down to Columbus. I'm on 65, and there's a lot of construction on 65, the highway, and you got a lot of people like, they're kind of fighting for position and space and crazy passing and all this stuff. And, like many years ago, when you're in the left lane kind of waiting, there's be like a line of people in the left lane. And somebody inevitably, or more than one person, is coming up on the right lane like ridiculously fast. And their whole move is to come right at the last second and cut you off and go into the left lane. Because they don't want to wait in line, right? They don't want to wait for whatever is lagging to pass. They just want to blast ahead. Well, in my younger days, I would have sped up to like box that person out, and then they'd have to wait. I'd make them wait. But that sometimes led to hot-headed actions on their part, because they're already a little bit like running high, right? They're going 115 miles an hour to try and quickly get into the left lane. So they're already like got that mindset that they're going to like blow somebody up, and then you just feed their fire, right? You just throw a little gasoline on the situation, and nothing ever happened. But I can count my blessings on that one, because I certainly aggravated a bad situation. I aggravated somebody that was clearly hostile, and kind of dared them to do something even more dumb, right? So now when that happens, I see somebody in my rearview mirror and they're coming fast. I slow down. I let them go in. I don't even think about it. I don't need them to regard me. I don't need the wave. I don't need anything. I just want them to go. I want them to go. I want them to think, maybe, wow, that person was kind of generous there, right? They didn't have to do that. Most people all day long have been like forcing me to go 600 miles an hour. So that was a generous thing to do. And maybe that sticks with them. Maybe a seed is planted in that little small moment. You know, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it makes them think a little more about human beings. And that human beings at the end are always more important than the comfort that we go after. And it's really the comforts, right? It's the comforts that drive people to do evil things. They want to be comfortable. They want the money. They want the best seat. They want the best meal. They want the best night. They want the best clothes. They want the best of whatever can be offered. And so they are in that single-minded state to get it, to go after it. And they don't care who's in the middle of that, right? They justify it all. They rationalize you away. Oh, well, this person was being this and that. You know, like, for instance, in that situation, even though, in my opinion, this guy's been very rude, right? He's going to cut off like 20 people in this last second pass. Because I act so stupid at the end, it justifies his entire behavior, right? He's like, oh, this jerk, you know, wouldn't let me get over when there was room to do it. And it like absolves him of the nonsense. It's interesting, right? And it's like, why do I do that in the first place? It's like, well, I want him to recognize that I'm there, that I've been holding my place in line. I want this person to recognize me, to regard me. It's like, why? Why? Who cares? Why do I need that? Why do I need someone to notice me, to know me? Isn't that what it always comes down to? We need to be noticed. We need to be regarded. That's why we do the things we do. We need to be validated. We need to be put up on a pedestal. We need to be revered. We need to be considered. And there's a lot of activity that goes into those things. A lot of selfish activity, a lot of single-minded activity. And when the people aren't going to stop doing that until they come across people who are going to graciously act different. Graciously do something that's completely against what most people do. And that shows them like, wow, this person has a different mindset. There's a peace to them that I want. I want that peace. I want that joy. It's through example. It's through behavior. It's through taking a different route. Christ came not to take vengeance, not to shame people, not to put people in their place. Christ did not come to do that. He'd still be doing that to this day if that were his mission. You'd never cure that. There'd always be another person and another person and another person. He came to sacrifice, to suffer in love for those who are afflicted by their own demons, their own selfishness, their own way of battling the world. And that's what we do. We battle the world. We battle the world by battling. And Christians battle the world by loving. Christians battle the world by submitting. It's yours. You know, it's like this person who's driving up so fast in the right lane. When they get to the very end, they will do anything to get there, right? They put all this energy in. They put all this work in. They're going to take that spot, come hell or high water. They're going to take it. But don't they? And I'm sure 9 times out of 10, they're ready for the person to try and, you know, speed up. The person in the left lane now speeds up to keep them from doing it, or making it very, very difficult for them to do it, making them take an extra risk from cutting in. And when someone doesn't do that, they actually slow down. They got to think like, wow, that's surprising. That's surprising. Why don't we be the good surprises for people, you know? Because they don't deserve it. It's not about what you deserve. We all deserve death. We all deserve to be treated harshly for the way we think and the way we act. It's not about what we deserve, right? That's not grace. That's not grace. We can do it anyway because we know Christ did it for us. He suffered for you and for me. He got up on that cross. He subjected himself to humiliation for you and me so that we didn't have to live that same kind of life of aggressor and aggressee, leverage and not leverage. We could live apart from that. We could live apart from the equation of, okay, is this person taking advantage of me? Are they abusing me? Now what do I do to fight? Now what do I do to take my position? Now what do I do to protect? We don't have to live like that. We have God. We have Jesus. And they care so much about us that they're giving us a new way, a new truth, a new life. And we can take it if we want. But we're going to have to separate from the need of being regarded and esteemed and sometimes even valued by people. It can't be about people. It can't be our position with people, right? Think about the highway. It's about positioning, right? First position, second position. It's about positioning. You have to be positioned in the front of the line. If you have to be positioned in the front of the line of your life, those values are not compatible with Christ. He was never front of the line. He was the least. You understand? And yeah, you're going to suffer a bit in the process of separating from that mindset. That's the real suffering. Because you're going from something you know. You're going something that to you provides a comfort. You're going something away from people that you love to do something different. You're actually loving them more by doing the different thing. You're loving them even greater by separating, but it doesn't feel that way in the beginning. It doesn't feel that way. It just feels like you're going away. You're going alone. And that feels like you're suffering. There's suffering to it because you're killing the old way. You're killing the old mindset. You're killing the old baggage. And God is blessing you for that. So he's keeping you upright when you just want to fall face first and say, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't have the energy. I don't have the will. And God just keeps taking you. He keeps lifting you. He keeps encouraging you. He keeps filling you with his love. And you're not powered anymore by the comfort and what comes with the comfort and what drives the comfort. You're filled by him. You're fed by him. In the beginning, it's certainly suffering because it's not like we're not used to it. We're not used to it. We're not used to it. It's mild. Sometimes it's very mild, very subtle. You know, it's like coming home and you get home from a long day of work and your kids immediately want to go outside and do something with you. You could say no, right? You could go upstairs, turn on the TV, relax for a little bit, and then come downstairs and be ready for it. And the moment has passed. The kids are gone. The kids have moved on. So in your desperate need for comfort, you missed an opportunity for a blessing. And it's in that pull from what you crave to doing right. You do it enough times and you kill the need. This is good stuff. This is good scripture. So it's that separation, I think, from the comforts. And it's also that willingness to show people who Christ is by reacting differently, by doing good, by being compassionate when there's no reason to be, by being gracious when there's no reason to be. That's God, right? And many times, in many cases in our lives, there's no reason to be gracious towards us, but yet he is. But yet he is. And so can we. And yet we are. And yet we are. People don't learn from words, and people don't learn from being overpowered. They learn from being allowed, from being cheered, from being encouraged, for being hugged, even when they're screwing up. That's where they go to God. That's where they find Christ. That's where they find Jesus. Okay. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Love you guys. Have a great day. Give in.